Right, welcome back to another video. I'm not going to do any major instruction, just going to keep on working on the van, trying to diagnose this fault. So if you haven't already seen the previous videos, the van has picked up a misfire. So with the diagnosing that we've done so far, we've narrowed it down to being cylinder 2, a fault within cylinder 2. So I guess there is another test. I will do one more test, and it's a test I've already done, and I want to run a leak down test again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the EGR off, see if I can get the intake off and the exhaust manifold off, see if I can get both of them off. Yeah, and then do a leak down test, and that way I'll be able to see, I can actually access the back of the head to hear where it's coming from, see whether it's coming from the intake or the exhaust, or to see if it is actually coming out through the gasket. So I'm going to start by just stripping it all down and getting the intake off, getting the exhaust manifold off. But yeah, the EGR valve, nice and easy to remove. So let's get this off and then crack on. Also, it's not really a problem me taking it all off, because I think the head's going to have to come off anyway. If it's a valve, or even if it's a head gasket, either way the head's coming off. So I'm just going to go ahead, remove all the injector fuel line from the injectors down to the fuel pump. So I'm just going to remove them, 17mm spanner, nice and easy. I've also marked everything that I'm taking off and marking up. You can see there's bits of tape all over the place with letters and numbers and references, so when it all comes back to everything going back on, hopefully along with these videos that I've recorded, I should actually be able to get everything back together in one piece and not have any nuts and bolts and anything left over. Back in the day, the amount of times you do a job, you count the nuts and bolts, and yeah, somehow you have that mysterious nut that's left over and you have no idea where it's coming from. So hopefully this time, you know, I can actually keep my eye on everything and know exactly where everything's going. Right, and now I've got those pipes off, I'm going to remove the vacuum pump, which is pretty simple. Cut, I think they were 13mm nuts. So yeah, it was nice and easy to remove them. Full of oil, loads of oil in there. You can see I've already gone ahead and removed that EGR pipe. It was an absolute nightmare. I had to use a 12, it's 12mm, but I used a 12mm socket, but I left it a couple of days soaking. I kept soaking it in WD, just kept re-soaking it and soaking it, because I didn't want it to snap, because I couldn't, they were rounded as well, so someone had already butchered them, and yeah, it didn't make it easier. So yeah, now I've got that off, I can sort of like access underneath the inlet and remove them. I think they were 6mm Allen keys to remove them. I wouldn't say it was easy, it was straightforward. It was a little bit of a bitch, not going to lie. But we got, you know, perseverance, and it's off. But one thing I do notice straight away is it's minging around the back there. It's all oily, wet and oily, and just, but it's all round sort of like the gaskets and that. Minging. So yeah, I'll give everything a good clean. Everything will get cleaned up before it all goes back together. So that little heat shield's been taken off, and then plenty of WD-40 on all those inlet on the exhaust manifold nuts and bolts. Well, they're nuts, but they're studded, aren't they? And they're a bit of a nightmare, because yeah, some of the studs come out and some of the studs stayed in. But again, you know, perseverance, it all comes out. Right, so you see there, it was a massive extension bar that I've got, and that's to get the oil feed, the oil return out of the turbo, because I'm taking everything off, the turbo, manifold, the lot. So also removing these exhaust clamps. But yeah, I think that's where I was getting a little bit of an oil leak from, because that 10mm bolt there wasn't particularly tight. So yeah, I've gone ahead and loosened them off, and I'll take them out from above. Final kind of things to take off the turbo just before I take it all out. Right, let's get these exhaust clamps off. These are going to be a bitch because I don't have the tool yet. I don't know whether I should get the tool or not, but let's get them off first before I decide whether I'm going to get the tool. Yeah, well, I didn't film because that was an absolute pain in the arse. A nightmare they are. Nightmare. I'm not looking forward to putting them back on. Right, so now I'm just going to remove this oil feed. So this is the oil in to the turbo. So I've just taken off that sort of like top nut. Then there's a copper washer, and then you can take off that pipe, and then there's a copper washer underneath that. So I've removed that, just putting the nut back on. And now is that the vacuum on the side? So again, 2 washers either side. Make sure you don't lose them. Again, like I said earlier, everything's marked up so I know what's going where. And now I've given that WD-40 plenty of time to soak in. Yeah, let's just get this exhaust manifold off. Nice and easy, 12 mils. Got my little ratchet on there, and none of these were particularly tight. It was easy to crack them all, and the only thing is that they never got easy. You know, you could never really do them by finger, even towards the end. So it was, again, perseverance, a little bit of a pain, especially as these middle ones, you couldn't get a socket over because of the way the manifold comes out and the way the nut and stud is. So I ended up having to use an open-ended spanner. A little bit of a pig, but it didn't take too long. I've got plenty of time to get it sorted. Not in any hurry. No VW festivals at the moment, so we'll just crack on. Yeah, you can see it's getting loose there, so now I'm taking the weight of it all. I know it's still held on by studs, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, there's not too much weight on those studs. Right, so that's everything off. A little bit of perseverance, and it does come out nice and easy. It just kept on getting caught. That pipe, oil pipe, the feed into the turbo, the one on the top there, just kept on catching, and it was making my life a little bit annoying because, yeah, it's not even really heavy, the turbo and the manifold. It's just awkward. But there it is, all out. Happy days. Look how much room I got there. That's sweet as a nut, isn't it? Right, as it is sort of like, you know, sun's going down in about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to get under here, got the spotlight out now, and I just want to have a film this bit so I can see where the auxiliary belt goes, what it runs around. Just for reference, when I put it back on, I'll go, right, yeah, that's what it went round, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I'm going to take the auxiliary belt off and take that idler off just above the crankshaft. And I will be back tomorrow, first thing in the morning, to do the leak down test. So I shall see you in the morning, and you shall see this in about 5 seconds' time. Right, so why is it leaking out of the intake on cylinder 3 when all the problems we've got are with cylinder 2? It's cylinder 2 that's not firing. Injector 2 was all the faults. How strange. Cylinder 3 intake. Cylinder 2 sounded like it was leaking, but it wasn't through either of the valves. Cylinder 1 sounded fine. I mean, I done tested 1 and 3 for reference, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching. Any advice, leave it down there. Any advice, leave a comment down below. Any advice is much appreciated. And I guess next time I think I'm going to have to get the head off and we'll have a look. So that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. It helps support the channel. I need as much support as I can get and as much help and luck. So wish me luck in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Stay safe. God bless.